Hello, Ms. Buchanan's Algebra 1A. I'm looking at this Unit 4 Homework 6, Writing Linear Equations, given point-slope form. We are using the point-slope formula, y minus y1 equals m in parentheses, x minus x1 back parentheses. I go ahead and change this, and I add a y1 to both sides, so that I get rid of it on this side and I get y by itself, and I have a plus y1 back here. It's going to be a little bit neater further on as I ran out of room here. If you ever have misspell in your future mathematical endeavors, you're going to see that she uses it as this. It just saves you a step. And I thought that was kind of nice. So remember, this is my x and this is my y. And there's only one set, so it's x1, y1, you know. And so, and here's the slope. So I write the formula, you know, this was the formula, and I just move my y1 over here just to save me a step, and it becomes plus y1 because I moved it to the other side of the equation, or you could think of it as I added a y1 to both sides, okay? So I plug in my slope, I plug in my x1, which is 4, so I'm subtracting x1, so I'm subtracting 4. And then I'm adding my y1, so I add 2. I multiply 3 times x is 3x, 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, and then I just have that plus 2 at the end there. The only two things I can combine here is the negative 12 and the 2, and that becomes negative 10. I bring everything else down, and there is my slope-intercept form. You know, there's my y equals mx plus b. Remember, it has to look like y equals mx plus b. There's my b, or I'm sorry, my m, my slope, and there's my b, my y-intercept. I could actually graph this right now. Number 2, given this information, I have that equation with my y1 already back here. I just, you know, added y1 to both sides in order to get my y1 over there, just to save some work. And so I plug in my slope, plug in my x1, which is 0, and my y1, which is a 3. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times a 0 is just 0, and I'm just left with this plus 3, so I'm done. That's my, you know, my slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Number 3, and you could pause this as I'm going on. I'm doing all of them except 2 of them for you, so you can be on your own on 2 of them. I have my formula once again. I plug in the slope, plug in the x value, plug in the y value. Notice this is a negative y value now, so this becomes minus 7. I just take negative 1 times x gives me negative x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. And then I have this negative 7 back here I can't forget about. I put together my plus 1 and my negative 7, and I get negative 6. I bring down everything else, and there is my slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Number 4, try on your own. Number 5. I write the formula every single time just so I know where to put everything. Slope goes right here. My x1 is a negative 8. So minus a negative becomes plus 8. Got to watch that. And then I am adding my y1. I combine my like terms. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 8 is 2. And then I just bring down this 6. 2 plus 6 is 8. I bring down everything else, and there's my slope-intercept form. My y equals mx plus b. Number 6. I plug in my slope, I put in my x value, I put in my y value, which happens to be a negative, so it's minus 4 this time. Negative 2/3 of x, I forgot my x, becomes negative 2/3 x. Negative 2/3 times a negative 9 is a positive 6. And I bring down that negative 4. The only thing I need to do here is 6 minus 4. That gives me 2. There's my y equals mx plus b. Number 7, I plug in my slope. I plug in my x value. I plug in my y value. Notice it's a negative, and so that becomes a minus 6. All right, I have 5/6 x becomes 5, 6x. 5, 6 times a negative 6 is going to be a negative 5. And I just bring down that negative 6. Negative 5 and negative 6 is going to become a negative 11. So there's my y equals mx plus b. Number 8, I plug in my m, my slope. I plug in my x1, which it's minus a negative once again, so it's plus 8. And then I add my y1. Okay, I do my multiplication, and I get negative 3x, negative 3 over 2x. Negative 3 over 2 times a positive 8 gives me negative 12. And then I just have this plus 9, so it's negative 12 plus 9 gives me negative 3. So I have my y equals mx plus b right here, and I can graph that. And here is negative 4 and 0 as my x1 and my y1, and here's my m, my slope. So I plug in for my slope 1/2. I plug in for my, it's a negative, subtracting a negative becomes positive, so plus 4. And my y1's a 0, so I have nothing back here. So I just do the distributive property, negative half x is half x. Negative half times a positive, just not negative, it's just half. Half times a 4 is 2. So here's my y equals mx plus b. And I could graph that. Now, I keep saying I could graph that. I want you to see me graphing that. Let me grab a piece of graph paper real quick. So let's say I want to graph number 10. What does that mean? I can graph it. So here's my y, here's my x. That means I go to the y-intercept of plus 2, so plus 2 would be right here. I know this is an ugly graph, but this is just real quick. I thought, well, I might as well show you what this means. And then here's my slope, 1 over 2. I go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. So there's the graph of this linear equation in slope-intercept form. And all of these you would be able to do that with, okay? All right, so good luck with 4 and 9, and hopefully this was very helpful to you.